Hello and welcome to Paint by Blunders. Today we are looking at Chapter Master of the Ultramarines, Marneus Calgar. Now in this tutorial we wanted to make him look nice and striking to lead your Ultramarines to victory hopefully, without too much of a time sink, and to make him look really simple and effective on the tabletop. Now enough of me waffling, let's get to the video. So we have Zenithal primed our Calgar with the airbrush, and we're coming in first up with Green Stuff World acrylic colour Imperium Blue. Now I've been using the acrylic range from Green Stuff World, the new Max formula, for a little bit now, and I'm really digging them. If I'm honest, they are slightly thin with a brush, but they go on with an airbrush absolutely fantastic, and that is what I'm using as the first sort of base tone for our armor. Now for those of you who watch my videos and don't like using an airbrush, I get you, I feel you brother, I see you. So you can easily follow any of my other tutorials where I do Space Marine on with a sponge, for instance, like the Space Wolves one, or you could just apply this with a brush. But next up, we are using Summer Sea Blue. Now this is a fantastic, very much main Ultramarine colour I would find for this scheme, and I'm going for the highest parts and like doing the main parts, sort of the main highlights of the curves, etc. on the armour. Not going too sort of zenithal highlight, not going too crazy in volumetrics. I just want to draw more attention to the interesting angles and curves. I don't want to get into the minutiae of, you know, volumetric highlighting and stuff. I just want something that looks cool. So for our final highlight, I'm using Arctic Blue, again from the Green Stuff World range, and I'm just picking out the highest points of the armor. Again, if you don't want to airbrush, this is just a very simple sponge technique. You can do this, and I'm spraying at 23 psi on the little Serenair airbrush from GAAHLERIS, or airbrush compressor, and I'm using my Harder and Steenbeck Infinity with a 0.4 needle. And at this stage, this is as far as we've got with the armour. Now you might be thinking, oh, that's a little bit pale, that's a little bit Space Wolvesy, as opposed to sort of that rich blue for Ultramarines. Now this is where I'm coming in with Frostheart from Games Workshop. And I'm just going to fire that through the airbrush with a little bit of thinner, just to tone down everything as one and make that, you know, nice, rich, vibrant blue. And with that done, this is what Calgar looks like. Now, if you don't want it to be this sort of blue and you think you've knocked out some of the highlights, then just don't do this step and just keep it with those lighter blues. Or you can easily come back in and reinforce those paler tones now. Now, one of the sub-assemblies I did do is I didn't put the cape on, just because I thought for ease of armor, and I didn't put the head on either. So the channel has now hit 10k subscribers, a milestone that I didn't think I'd get to when I started this channel a few years ago now. I think it's 2 years. But I want to give something back as a thank you to you guys. So the model that I painted in this tutorial, and you are watching potentially how to paint, I'm going to give you a chance to win it. And I'm going to put it in the description below and in the top pinned comment on how you can do that. And good luck, and you could win this model. So next up we are moving on to our metallics, and Dwarven Gold from scale 75 is what we're using first. Now 2 thin coats as always with a lot of these sort of steps, because we want a nice even coverage, and especially with metallics because we want it to be nice and vibrant and popping, especially on a model like this. Now we do have to be careful. I don't want to tell anyone how to suck eggs. Obviously you guys know that because we spent all that time airbrushing the armor, and now we're putting a completely contrasting color over the top. But we're just trying to be careful here and just picking out all those lovely gold details. Now, as I said, sometimes I try and streamline some of these things by painting more gold areas than what sort of the box art represents, like some of the motifs on his right fist. I wasn't a massive fan of painting the flames in colour. I didn't like the idea of it artistically for me, so I just painted all of that extra sort of gubbins on his fist, all gold. Now for the little areas of black. You can use any black paint you like, but I have found the Contrast Black Legion is so good. It is just perfect consistency, and I use it all the time for stuff like this, especially on Space Marines. And we're just getting all that sort of under exosuit, padded suit thing, all the little gubbins between the armor and the actual gun casings, etc. And it's just all those little details, and it makes it much easier. Next up for our metallics, we are using Kaleido's Colorworks Steel I bang on about this paint all the time. It's an airbrush paint, but I think it goes on beautifully with a brush. I haven't tested all the other colours yet, but I can vouch for the stainless steel. The next details we're going to look at is the sort of ropes across the armour, the scabbard for his sword, and sort of his loincloth dangly bits. And we're going to be using AK Interactive's Burnt Red. If you don't have this and you're a Games Workshop paint user, you could easily use Corn Red. As always, we're just trying to be as careful as possible, and brush size wise, the thing I always say is use the biggest brush that you feel comfortable getting good accuracy with. So we're going to look at some of the minor details like the purity seals and any of the lighter areas. Great Hall Grey from Warpaint Fanatics is a fantastic light base for sort of the Ultramarine symbols and the text on the purity seals. It's got fantastic coverage for such a light pigmented paint, and honestly everything I've tried from Warpaint Fanatics so far has not missed the mark. It's been really, really good. So the blue armor on your Ultramarines, is it a recipe that you've done for years and you've stumbled across this video just to see a different approach? Are you new to 40k? Are you new to Ultramarines? What is your story and how come you landed on this video? I'd love to know. Do comment below. So with those details done, I'm going to start looking at the cape, and for the red on the cape, I'm going to jump in with one of my favorite reds, and that is just Mephiston Red from Games Workshop. Fantastic coverage, fantastic tone. 2 thin coats as like most of the steps on this because we want a really bright and solid colour. So the main details of Marneus are now done. I'm going to be doing a few sort of what I call pre-shades before I do a uniform wash all over, and I'm going to be using Rikland Fleshshade over all of the gold areas as well as the scabbard and a few of those red areas as well. And the only other one I'm going to do is a heavily watered down or thinned Cycor brown over any of the parchment for the purity seals. So this is where we're at with our uniform wash. Now I'm going to be using a oil wash, and I'm going to be using Payne's Grey. Now I appreciate not everyone likes using oils. I absolutely adore them, and I'm going to be using this all over the model essentially. But you can get Payne's Grey as a normal wash or an acrylic wash from Monument Hobbies. It's a fantastic paint and I've used that before, but I love the redactive properties of oils and the way they sort of flow. Now, the first thing I do is put a bit of oil on a wood or card. That's going to help just draw out some of the oil for drying times essentially. And then I'm just going to syringe some thinner into a little shot glass and just mix it to the consistency I like. Now, most people have a good gauge for this because most people probably started with streak and grime or enamels like that. So you can sort of gauge your thickness from there. I want it a lot thinner than that because I don't need it to be that dirty, but you easily could if you wanted to. And I'm literally going to put this all over the model because, as I said, there is actually properties of oil as this sort of sets in like half an hour or so. If I don't like where I've put it, it's very easy for me to remove it. As always, if you are enjoying the video, please do consider subscribing, commenting, liking, sharing, hyping, whatever that is. I don't really know what that is, but feel free to do it because it is greatly appreciated and it really does help the channel grow. And then after about 20 minutes, half hour, I'm just coming in with a tiny bit of spirits on a bit of makeup sponge, and I'm just pulling away and just gently rubbing away some of that oil wash. Now, a lot of people always ask me, do you need to varnish before this step? You absolutely do not need to do that. You can if you want. It's a good extra safety barrier, or if you really only want it to fall in the recesses, it will help with that capillary action, but I never do. I don't need to. I only found paint comes off if I'm being too overzealous with removing the paint, which makeup sponges and a gentle touch is all you need. I found a few times I've come into trouble if I've used Q-tips, and I don't really use those anymore. And this is the result. I love what it's done to the armor. I love what it's done to the white. And then essentially all we're going to do is come in and highlight it back up. But if you want to stop here, you absolutely can. But I'm coming back in with that Arctic blue, and I'm just going to edge highlight that armor. Now, I always find I'm not a massive fan of every edge being highlighted. I think it looks a bit strange to my eye, especially for sort of a slightly dirtier looking model. So just pick out the bits that interest you the most, or where you want to, draw the most attention to. So his fists and his boot, that's, they're the main focal points in his big old armor. So once that's done, we're going to start looking at the red sections, and you can either come straight in with a highlight, which would be the sort of Mephiston Red over the burnt red, or you can go Evil Sunz Scarlet over the Mephiston Red. But you could also just do that original base tone as sort of an initial highlight and then step out from there. Depends how much time you want to spend on it. After that, we are coming back in with our Great Hall Grey to do our parchment on the purity seals, the inside of the cape, and you could use this as a first highlight for all of the white sections, like the Ultramarine symbol on his shoulder and the motifs on his shoulder rather, and his shin, or you could just come straight in with white to highlight that if you prefer. Now for actually painting in white, there are many whites out there, and use whatever one you have or feel most comfortable with. But I will be absolutely honest, I use Golden Acrylics white, and I think it is the greatest white going. It's so good, whether you get the heavy bodied version or the fluid version, which is, a little bit more of the consistency we know as miniature painters. So for the black sections, a few edge highlights for this. All we're going to be using is a nice sort of medium grey tone. You could be using Administratum if you want to go slightly lighter. Dawnstone, which is probably what I used here. But I'll be completely honest, most of the time whenever I'm highlighting black with a grey, I normally have white and black on my palette, and I tend to just mix one up. So if I wanted to add some little highlights to the gold areas, I'm just coming back in with Liberator Gold from Games Workshop and just applying some sort of not too precise, just scratches over little bits to add a little bit of tonal variation. I don't want to go too mental with relayering all of the metallics because I really like how that Dwarven gold looks. So for our little gems and lenses and all of the little sort of red accents, I'm going to be using Evil Sunz Scarlet. I'm not going to worry about, applying a certain wash or a certain shade. You can use anything you like here that gives you that sort of vibrant result. And once that's done, I'm just going to put the little white reflective dot and call them done. So onto the cape, I'm going to be dry brushing and stippling the main sort of bulk of the cape, and then stippling right towards the edge just to try and add some texture and to make it look less like a big flat panel. But I'll also be coming in just to sharpen some of the edges with that Evil Sunz Scarlet as well. And once that step's done, that is pretty much him done, in my opinion, for at least the level that I wanted him to be. So we're going to start moving on to his mush. So onto his face. Brown Rose and Elven Flesh are the two we're going to use. And we're also going to apply a few colours as we go, because as I'm doing the face, I don't want to have to go back to correct mistakes, because you want to do as many coats as you need to on the face, but thin coats. So they're not going to have great coverage if you make a mistake with sort of the silver or the black. So when I'm doing faces, what I like to do is start with just the Brown Rose, add a little bit of Elven Flesh to that mix on my wet palette, then go over it again, but avoiding the darkest areas or the lowest points, like in the cheekbones or under the nostrils, under the eyes, etc. The hairline, and just build it up to more and more pure elvish flesh. And after sort of 3 or 4 coats, you get this. So does it look the best? No, but is it very simple? In my opinion, yes. And then we're just going to come in with some shades to tie in, the same colours that we used on the armour to sort of the optics and the armour that we can see attached to the head. And with some of the smaller details like the eye lens, etc. done, one thing I wanted to show is that you might see on a lot of box art, they have sort of quite a very clear black line around the hairline. I achieved this by using essentially like a panel liner, which is like an enamel wash, just to let it flow round. Now you can either just do the hairline and leave it pretty thick, or you can do what I do and I pick out some of the facial details as well, and then, like with the oil paint on the armour, if you make a mistake, you can remove it really easily. So yeah, you may do that, you may use another method, but I find this works for me quite well. And then just as a very final thing, I like to take a really heavily watered down flesh tone contrast. I believe I'm using Peachy Flesh at this point, and just to use that as a way to blend in the face. Now we're pretty much done with him. It is just a case of gluing in the head, but I wanted to show you just how I did the base and a few finishing touches. All this was just applying a couple of sandy tones to the base, and then picking out the bullets with one of our metallics, applying a Agrax Earthshade wash, because I have to get it in on every miniature paint by the sounds of it, over everything. And then it is just a case of adding lots of pigment powders, because I love how they look. I love that matte, dusty finish. Now, one of the things I always love doing with pigment powders as well is sort of splashing it on their feet and the edges of their boots like they've been wading through and, you know, collecting dirt. Also, if they've got a big old cape, I love smushing some pigment powder there as well, as if that's sort of been dragging behind them. Also, a few final little details. If you wanted to add some sort of wavy text to the Purity Seal sort of parchment sections, just use the smallest brush you can, and then I would use Cycor Brown or Black Legion Contrast, so you're not fighting about getting that small amount of paint off your brush, and just do some wavy lines. After that, all I wanted to do was add a few tufts just to make the base slightly more interesting, and then I'm calling him done. I think he looks great. I didn't put too much time into him, but I put enough that I feel he looks fairly special against my other Marines. Any suggestions for what you want to see in the future, do let me know in the comments below, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Thank you once again for checking out this tutorial. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one.